it'll open that whiskey up to where those flavors are more prudent and more upfront and in your face, and it tames some of that ethanol, the ethanol alcohol burn. But sometimes it does the adverse effect. There are bourbons where you add a little water and a little ice, and it almost makes it either more spicier. A lot of times it just depends on that mash bill. It depends on, there's so many factors that go into it. Yep.
I was doing a little bit of research on it.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it'll definitely change.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Garage Talk. As always, I'm Conrad. Let's go.
I'm Ted. It's time to rock and roll.
Hey Teddy, today in the garage we have with us
Julian Miller.
How we doing?
We're good. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. Blessed to be here. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Good stuff.
Well, thanks for making the long road trip down here.
Sure. Absolutely.
Julian. Before we get to you, we got to say thank you to our #1 elite sponsor, Nicholson Realty 2.0. They make this happen, and by the way, welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you, man.
How you doing?
Doing very well. Very well.
Awesome.
Good day.
Good. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so right now, living in the Zionsville area, really big into the bourbon world, getting into it. Work with Miss Cinewall Cigar Company, doing a lot of their cocktails, a lot of their bourbon things, but have really gotten into the bourbon industry here recently, and been enjoying every single minute of it. So that's been a big deal for me. I work in the Indy area. Work for a great company, Fire Dog Junk Removal. So shout out to them as well. So.
Yep.
Doing a lot of really cool things in the community as well as in the state of Indiana. So
that's cool,
absolutely, man.
That's cool. So, what got you into whiskey and bourbon and?
Oh man,
bartending?
Absolutely, great story. It really started probably in like 2015. I had a buddy. We just had a rough day at work, and from there just decided, hey, let's go get some scotch and let's sit back and enjoy a bottle of scotch, and we did that. And ever since then, it just kind of took off from there. It started off really, really slow, right? So my whiskey journey did start with scotch. A lot of people, absolutely. A lot of people love bourbon. They love, Irish whiskey, things of that nature. But for me, it started with scotch and kind of, just developed over time. But really, it took off kind of during that COVID boom, just like a lot of other things for people that attach themselves to hobbies and attach themselves to different things that they wanted to learn and grow within. And so for me, it was whiskey, and developed a palate, started to learn about it, started to read about it, and really that's the way that it maturated, was the more you learn, the more you study, the more you read, the more you begin to enjoy it. So absolutely.
That is crazy, because like when I'm looking at the history of whiskey and bourbon in America, it's as American as apple pie.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Evan Williams in 1783.
Absolutely.
First commercial whiskey distillery in Louisville, Kentucky.
100%.
No, I mean, everybody loves Kentucky whiskey and bourbon, right?
Kentucky whiskey is amazing, right? Kentucky is that home birth state of whiskey, and it's definitely, America's the benchmark, for whiskey and bourbon in particular, right? So, it's whiskey has a government trademark, the Bottled and Bond Act, right? So it's crazy how much we love our bourbon and our whiskey. So absolutely.
That's because the name comes from Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Back in the 18th century. Mm-hmm. It's a sipping drink, right?
So what do we have here that?
Yeah. So right now we're drinking on the Hugh Hammer, which comes out of West Fork Distillery, and this is their straight bourbon whiskey. It's finished in maple syrup barrels, about 103 proof. Amazing stuff, right? I think we talk about Kentucky a lot, and Kentucky is an amazing state, for whiskey, but Indiana is right there behind it. If not, just right neck and neck with Kentucky. We make some amazing whiskey, and a lot of people that are buying whiskey actually probably don't understand that probably half of the whiskey that they're buying is actually sourced out of Indiana.
Really?
You know, we have some of the best corn, the best weather, things of that nature. And so when you have distilleries that are actually local to Indiana, you're going to get some amazing, amazing whiskey. And so shout out to West Fork. Shout out to the, you know, Blake, who's their co-owner and the president. I mean, just an amazing guy. Blake Jones, amazing guy, amazing team over there that's doing some amazing work with their whiskey and with their own distillate, and it's growing pretty big. So just wanted to stop in and absolutely share that with you. It's a phenomenal bottle. So.
And that's
What are these glasses called?
So these are actually a new trade kind of glass. Usually most people are going to drink out of like a Glencairn, but this is just kind of that Americanized style of a sniffer here. So just a cool style.
Sniffer?
Yeah, just a cool sniffer where you can sniff on the whiskey, get those flavors, get the pungent smells for you.
See, I'm a Coors Light man.
Hey,
But I take a hit of this.
yep,
Woo!
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Are my eyebrows standing up?
I like it.
It's good stuff,
I've had
right?
about 3 sips.
Yeah, you get a lot of
the taste
yeah.
stays in my mouth too.
For
It's-
sure, it lingers.
Really?
You know, really, really rich, really viscous. You get a lot of that caramel up front.
Yeah.
Some of the chocolate, but you do get that buttery pancake maple syrup finish with a little bit of sweet goat on the end. So
And
Yeah.
It's
What was that word again? Viscous?
viscous, yeah, yeah. Viscous is exactly what you said. Like it kind of sticks in the mouth, right? Kind of coats the mouth really, really well. So
I taste the maple syrup.
my man.
I taste it.
that's-
Absolutely.
You can, yeah.
I do. I taste it.
Big
I
time.
got, I've got,
Big
listen,
time.
man, this is not me tooting my own horn at all, but I feel like I have an advanced palate, especially when it comes to ice cream.
There you go.
But I do taste the maple syrup in that,
there
Teddy.
you go.
You can.
Funny story, man. So that same night that I was telling you about with the scotch, I used to pair scotch and ice cream all the time.
Wow.
Stop.
I'm so serious. I would have a glass of scotch, a little carton of ice cream on the side, watch a movie, watch a game, and just sip. Take me a scoop of ice cream, sip, scoop of ice. I'm telling you, scotch and ice cream go. Oh my gosh, the
Really?
pairing is amazing, impeccable.
So that kind of makes sense because in one of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction,
Right.
and this shows you how far back things
Yeah.
are back then. She orders a $5 shake and he loses his mind. $5?
Yeah.
Like, what's in that? Now, shoot, a $5 shake is a deal.
Yeah.
But he's like, what's in that, bourbon? And she's like, nope, it's a $5 shake. But that makes sense. So it goes good. So
Man, dude, the pairing's great.
have you ever had like a Italian cream soda? Where
Oh,
they
for sure.
I wonder if it would go
Absolutely,
good with that.
absolutely, 100%.
We
There's
could
no
call
doubt.
it the garage talk. Man.
There we go. There's the drink for the garage talk right now.
That might be something he might be able to come up with up there.
Absolutely.
On
Yeah,
Sundays
for
he
sure.
works up there
For
for our
sure.
company.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, you shout out to West Fork Whiskey Company.
Yeah.
I mean, they sent some glasses to us as a gift, and we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yep.
We'll
Yep.
shout them out, and we'll have to make a trip down there.
Yeah, for sure. When you go,
Check it out.
just give me a call. We'll all go together.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
a great spot. So seriously, they have phenomenal whiskey, phenomenal food, great staff, great service. So
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll take the whole review crew.
Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
like to.
Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll
Like to
do
do
it
that.
up. Yeah. So,
Now-
Julian.
Yep.
Go ahead, Teddy. What was you saying, man?
Go with this statement. You tell me whether it's true or not. All bourbon is whiskey. Not all whiskey is bourbon.
very true.
Okay.
Very true. So all, very, very true. Absolutely. I mean, you have so many different types of bourbon. I mean, whiskeys, you got single malts, you have American whiskeys, you have bourbon whiskey, you have Kentucky straight whiskey. And so that's a very true statement.
Okay.
And whiskey's so diverse, from Japanese to Irish to Scotch. It's all whiskey, but it's all different, right? And so, and a lot of people think, for something to be bourbon, it has to be in Kentucky. And that's not true either, right? You can have bourbon out of Oregon, you can have bourbon out of Indiana, right? And so, it's just kind of the way that it's made and processed, and that's what gives kind of those connotations, the different names,
Okay.
and where it's from, how it's produced, the oak you're using. It's so complex. I mean, there's so many different different rulings and linings within that. But that is a very true statement, and a good one, Yep.
So, but still, so bourbon is an American whiskey. I'm still confused on it, man.
Yeah.
I'm still like trying to wrap my head around it. You said single malts. What does all that mean?
Yeah. So it's
Because I'm a novice.
yeah, to make it really make sense, a lot of it is just going to be based off of mash bills. A mash bill is basically, am I making what am I making my whiskey with, right? Is it going to be a straight wheat whiskey? A straight wheat whiskey, for example, you might have 95%, wheat, and then a 5% malted barley. Is it a straight rye whiskey? Straight rye, kind of that same idea, right? You're going to have a 95%, rye content with maybe a 5% malted barley, and it could be even more. For it to be bourbon, you want to have 51% corn. It has to have 51% corn.
Yep.
If it doesn't,
Okay.
then it's going to have a different name, right? It's going to have a different connotation to it. Just to make that really simple. There's obviously other things that factor into that, but 51% corn, and then we got bourbon, And then obviously within that mash bill, you can add wheat to it. You can add rye to it, malted barley to it. You can add another grain if you wanted, but it still has to have that 51%. Absolutely. Once you get out of that, it becomes a little bit something different.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's, in the research I did, it says, you have to have a mash bill of at least 51%
Absolutely.
corn. It has to be stilled at no higher than 160 proof.
Yep.
Be barreled at no higher than 125 proof.
125. Absolutely.
Speaking of barrels, you said oak earlier, right?
Yeah.
But-
So that is something, to make it very, very simple. A lot of people, it's that new charred white oak barrel, right?
Right.
If you really get down to it, oak is oak. You can have different types of oak and it still be bourbon, but that's a whole different world of scientific things like that. So the easy way to say it is just that new white oak charred barrel. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's,
Yeah.
my next
Yeah,
thing says, it has to be aged in a new oak barrel.
Yep. There you go.
Be bottled at no less than 80 proof.
Yep.
Contain no additives
Zero
other than
additives.
water
Yeah.
for proofing.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, as far as like when we're talking about like American whiskey, right? So American whiskey, single malts, things of that nature. Now what we're doing is we're getting into used American barrels. So let's say, does that make sense? Let's say a company has a barrel, it's already been used, but I want to use it again. That's kind of that where you can say, oh, it's an American whiskey or it's a single malt or so many different connotations within that. Absolutely.
So back in the 1919 when the Volstead Act was like going through, did you know that a doctor could prescribe whiskey
Absolutely.
during Prohibition? It's a doctor's prescription. That's crazy.
Yeah,
isn't
for
it?
sure. And one company, and there could have been more, but one that we do know that thrived during the Prohibition was Old Forester. So Old Forester got their licensings to be able to make their whiskey medicinal, and then thus, put their whiskey in a glass bottle, to make it medicinal for people. Because Prohibition you couldn't sell, right? So Old Forester, they found a way to say, hey, this is helping people that aren't feeling very well. When I'm not feeling very well, I might have a hot toddy or two, right? You know what I mean? Or pour a little something. So absolutely, a mint julep in the morning to get you going. But but yeah, that Old Forester was super smart. That brand was super smart to be able to do that during Prohibition. So big deal.
I used to use it for a toothache.
That's a good one too.
It numbs it.
It sure does.
For a few minutes.
I did always hear, like, when a baby was teething, you just dab a little bit on your finger, but now I think you'd get thrown in jail.
You might.
Shoot, sometimes I need a drop.
Yeah.
But I always go to the old Rocky Mountain snow melt.
There's nothing wrong with a good Coors Light, brother.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a good Coors Light.
Julian, I like you, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So, as a bartender, do you consider yourself a mixologist?
I mean,
I mean, you take pride in what you do,
absolutely,
correct?
100%. I take a lot of pride in what I do. You know, for me, when it comes to bartending, it's more of a, and this is just me being very transparent towards myself. It's more of me just being creative, right? It's you know, there's a lot of bartenders out there, and everyone has this place, right? You know, if you want to, you know, make your Jaeger shots, you know, things of that nature, you know, you're still a bartender. You're still getting creative. You know, for me, being behind a bar and serving people, making something really, really awesome, it's just a way to be creative. And, you know, it's kind of that shot or error thing too. You know, I'll look at a bottle, I'll look at, you know, maybe a liqueur and say, hey, I'm just going to try this out and see if it works, you know. So for me, what I say, I'm a mixologist. I don't know, right? But it's more of an art form for me, and a way to calm the mind, calm the senses. You know, I would say I'm definitely more bourbon first, but absolutely love the creation part of what it takes to be a mixologist and to be, you know, under that realm. So yes and no, you know. I love mixology. I love the brain behind it, the science behind it, the beauty behind it, and absolutely, I make a lot of drinks, and I enjoy every minute of it. Yeah.
How do you figure out though, like, what alcohol goes with what juice or soda? Because one time, man, I made these Jello shooters with 100 proof peppermint schnapps, 100 proof peppermint schnapps, and some blue Jello.
Yeah,
it tasted like Listerine, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
It was. A lot of people were like, "Man, does my breath stink? Because you're giving me this shot, and it tastes just like Listerine." I was like, "That was an accident, man."
Listen, so much of it is what you said a while ago. It's learning the palate, you know. So if I have for example, if I have a floral gin and I'm wanting to make a very fresh cocktail, I'm gonna take that floral gin and I might add some cucumber to it, and then I might, you know, muddle the cucumber up. I might add, you know, let's think, what else would I put in there? You know, some lime juice, you know, things like that. Things that are gonna bring those floral elements forward, as well as, you know, maybe some hibiscus water or some orange water. It really, again, so much of it is just getting creative. So much of it is just getting behind the counter, trying different things and seeing what works. But it's kind of the reverse effect. You know, if I have a gin that's high in juniper and I try that same cocktail, it's going to taste much, much different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Seems like, I don't know, would that make it more bitter?
But that's where it's
potentially.
That's where it's an art, and I see that in you because you're talking about bringing the flavors forward. I wouldn't even think of anything like that because the practice of bartending, man, it can be traced back to the Greeks and Romans, man. I'm telling you right now,
for sure.
Like, what you do is so different than anything. Like I said, me mixing 100 proof peppermint schnapps with blue Jello.
Right.
I would like to think it was a hit, but you know, it wasn't. I don't think. But like you hibiscus water. What in the hell is that?
Yeah, man. Like so there's so many things out there that come in. You know, if you go into Total Wine, if you go in wherever you want to shop at, there's so many bitters and so many different syrups and different things that you can add to a cocktail. And so I use a lot of flower water, hibiscus waters. I make my own syrups sometimes.
Wow.
And just have fun. You know, one of my favorite drinks that I make right now is with like a floral gin, and it, like I said, it has cucumber, it has mint leaves, lavender syrup, a little bit of elderflower. And again, I'm going to use a floral forward gin to help with those floral essences. You know, if I add a gin that's high in juniper, it'll still be a really good cocktail, but it'll separate, right? I'm going to get more of that gin flavor because it's higher in the juniper, higher in, you know, those botanical flavors rather than it all maturating together. But it's also palate to palate, right? So somebody else might love that separation and that complexity. Where for me, I love my cocktails to have a lot of balance and to be all cohesive.
Right.
Egg whites does that. Egg white, adding egg white to your cocktails pulls things together so
Really?
amazing. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, he told me that
Listen.
last time I was up there.
I am a fiend for a cocktail with some egg white in it.
Wow, I gotta try that.
Absolutely.
That sounds like
Good.
breakfast, man.
Hey, it's good stuff. Get a little protein while you're at it, right?
All right, I get that.
Absolutely.
Because they say alcohol is empty calories.
Hey,
Now you're getting somewhere, man.
yeah,
Now, I get it.
for sure,
I get
for
it.
sure.
Now, Conrad, have you ever went to a bar and they had a drink that had cucumber in it?
I don't think so. I mean, does a pickle count?
Hey, if you got a good Bloody Mary or
Yeah.
Bloody
Yes.
Maria, yeah, that
Yeah.
absolutely counts.
I like my my Bloody Mary really spicy. I like peppercorn.
Yeah,
Like
sure,
like
sure.
you can damn near crunch it. But I was thinking to myself, I don't go to swanky, bars a lot, but I did go to one a speakeasy
Yeah,
in Las Vegas.
sure.
And I had a $35 martini. Man. And listen, Julian, I'm sorry, man, but my palate, I was like, what is this, man?
Yeah,
you need
man.
some sugar in it.
Yeah, just different.
It was dry.
Yeah, sure. And that's martinis are hard, man. Every martini's so different, the way that person approaches it and makes it. So, yep.
I don't know if they put gin in it or it wasn't vodka.
Sure.
I know, I like vodka.
You know your vodka taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
wasn't vodka.
Might have been something a little different.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't worth the $35. I mean, maybe it was. Maybe it was somebody else.
Right.
But to me, I was like, I guess I'll just pay for that $20 12-ounce bottle of beer that is.
But that's,
Absolutely.
like you said, Julian, you trying different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so say you're up here working at the cigar company.
Yeah.
You make something, you like it.
Yeah.
You like yell at somebody and say, "Hey, see what you think."
Sure.
Just the taste test for people.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of see if it'd be a go.
Yeah.
Because I know, because Jenny's come up with some pretty interesting.
Yeah, she has.
Interesting
She has.
drinks.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to know if something tastes good or not. I have people that come over sometimes, if I'm just wanting to make cocktails and just say, "Hey, listen, I'll provide everything. You don't have to spend a penny and let's just see if you like these, Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
now, do you have a signature drink you like to make that just you came up with it on your own? Do you have a favorite one that people really like?
I would say and this is a drink that a lot of people can make, but one my signature drink that I love to make for myself is a New York Sour.
New York Sour.
New York Sour is basically it's a whiskey sour, right? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna obviously a lot of places don't do it, like unless you're in a higher upscale type of setting, they're gonna have the egg white in there. Most of the times it's probably not, but I do put the egg white in my whiskey sour, and then I'm gonna float it with a red wine.
Yep.
And it is, listen, I'll drink those all day long if I could. I don't.
Right.
But honestly, it's probably my favorite cocktail and the cocktail of my choice.
Okay.
Consistently where I go, and the cocktail that I love to make the most. To be honest, I have a lot of my cocktails I don't even write down. It's just me getting behind that counter, getting creative, putting things together, and I'm saying, man, like that's delicious, right? Some of them I have written down.
Are you trying to tell me you're the Jay-Z of bartending?
Because
He never wrote down anything. He just went in there and...
Yeah, I don't think I'm that. I don't think I'm on top of that level just yet. But I love it, man. Like I said, it's just an art form for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's because last weekend when I was up there, I ordered a whiskey sour.
Yep.
And that's when he started talking about egg whites.
Yep.
But that whiskey sour I had last week was probably one of the best ones I've ever had.
Right, for sure. And some of that it's kind of, so growing up, my mom, when she would cook, we would want something different for dinner, and she would just call it like a catch-all, right? Going to the fridge, whatever's in the fridge. It might be different things, leftovers, right? But she would make an amazing meal out of it, and it was the same thing that happened. I understood that, hey, I got to use what I have, you know, to make this drink awesome. And so when you asked for that, I was like, how can I didn't want to just make the old classic, like with the, I'm not a fan of your sweet and sour mixers and things like that. You know, I want to use real ingredients, true ingredients, right? Like whole foods. And I was like, how can I just make this thing awesome? But here's what stinks. I couldn't tell you what I did. I could probably repeat it, in my own head, but
it was excellent.
Absolutely.
Now I know next time I order one, I'm going to ask for a New York style.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
That's it. Now you're talking about your mom, making different stuff.
Yeah.
Am I correct? But you have family in Marion, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. So I was born and raised in Marion, Indiana. Lived in Marion for 27 years. It's still home, and that's why I still come back.
Are you a Marion giant?
Oh yeah, big time.
We're not gonna hold that against
you. All right. Sounds good. I love it.
we like our Marion giants.
I have a lot of people that I support at Eastbrook. A lot of people I support.
We do too.
At Mississinawa. So for me, it's kind of a mixed bag. I support everybody. If it's Grant County, I'm supporting it.
That's
right.
The way we
are. Absolutely. But yeah, born and raised in Marion and love home. And that's why I travel up here, every other Sunday, because I just love being home. And I love still being a part of this county. And it's always blessed me. And so it's hard to leave home. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
So, because I've had people come over to my house, and like I take the grill seriously.
Sure.
And they're like, "Oh, I'll grill," and then they get on the grill. I'm like, "Man, you don't know what you're doing." Has anybody ever said, "Hey, let me make you a drink"?
Yeah.
And you have to say, "Hey, listen, man, I'm only telling you this because I love you, but this is terrible."
Man,
because aren't there drinks out there that are supposed to be easy and people mess up all the time?
Sure, absolutely. I think for me, this might contradict. For me, anybody that's trying,
Okay.
Again, every drink's just gonna taste a little bit different. Here's the hard part about cocktails, right? The way I would make an old fashioned at home is totally different from the way that I make an old fashioned at Mississinawa Cigar Company.
Okay.
Right. And it's just based off of preference. It's based off of how that person wants you to make it, how they want it to be served, right? If I go to Jim Beam, if I go to Four Roses, those old fashions are probably going to taste vastly different, So when it comes to cocktails, somebody that serves me something, I look at it as they're serving me a drink. They put their best effort into it. And because I understand my palate, and my palate is a little bit more diverse, that's where I take a little bit of, I'm not I'm not a huge prideful person. I'm not a big ego type of person, but that is when I say, hey, what am I getting off of this? Where is my palate coming out in this? And I will find a way to enjoy that drink.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I've never necessarily looked at somebody and said, hey, this is a bad drink. More so what I would do is say, what would I do different? How would I make it better? But for them, it's just sharing that classic smile, saying, hey, thank you, right? Because they took the time to serve me.
Did your best.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, here's your participation award.
Right.
But I've got a buddy, man, and I'm not joking. He takes pride in like when he makes a mojito,
dude.
Like he's got all his all the lemons and limes and all the mint leaves that he's got to muddle up. You want to break those oils out and stuff. When he starts talking like that, I'm like, man, I'm just going to pull the tab on this Coors Light. Dude, make the drink. Because when he's making it, he's like, see what I'm doing here? Yeah. Watch me. I'm like, all right, bro. All right. I believe you. Listen, man, I give you props on, you going, as we like to say, balls to the wall on it. But there's some people that's a big deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
it's a big undertaking.
The process of it.
Absolutely.
Not just the drinking of the drink, but all the work that went into making this drink.
Yes.
And then being like, taste this, bro.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn. All right, so you know what? That is a damn good mojito.
Absolutely. And it's the same thing with your grilling. You know what I mean? When you grill and you're on there and you sit back and you're like, all right, they about to taste the chicken.
Yeah.
Let me sit back and see what happens, you know. And they take a bite of the chicken and they start smiling and feeling good about it. You know you did your thing, right? You know what I mean? So it's very much of the same. I think grilling is a little bit. It's a skill, you know, and that's the thing, you know. It goes back to a lot of people ask me all the time, you know, how did this get started? You know, how'd you get so deep into it? It's just learning, man. It's studying, it's learning, it's reading. You know, it's the thing that I read about bourbon every single day, right? Cocktails, I'm always looking new stuff up. I'm always trying to diversify myself. It's the same thing, I'm sure, you know, when it comes to grilling. It's like, man, what's the newest thing? How can I make this better? How can I switch it up? You know, let's try this season. Let's try that, right? So it's very much the same. It's just the more you're in it, the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it for yourself. Yo.
All right, man. I've got to ask this question because I'm a Tom Cruise fan.
Okay.
I like some Tom Cruise.
Okay.
How many times have you seen Cocktails?
Oh, man. I think I've only probably seen that one time.
What?
One time. I know.
Do you know how to do some of that stuff? Is that just in the movies? Because I've never seen anybody flipping bottles through the air.
Let me tell you, it is. I've seen some pretty amazing stuff with bartenders.
Really?
You know? Oh my goodness, yes. Flipping bottles, flipping the shakers, you know, counting, you know, without actually measuring. I mean, just constantly just going, you know. For me, again, I'm just so patient. You know, I want that cocktail to come out just right. So I don't tend to do any flipping or any rushing or anything
I feel
like that.
I feel like they're rock and roll and you're like classical.
Yeah,
like you love to enjoy.
Yeah.
And you don't need all the frills and all the showmanship.
Yeah.
You're just making a great product.
Yeah. It's kind of like the blues. Like let's just sit back, you know, kick it. We'll have a great conversation.
I like that.
You know, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna make sure that this drink is as good as it can be for you, and you're gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
It's like, now wait, how many times have you watched Cocktails?
I've watched Cocktails a lot, bro.
A lot.
How many times have you watched Coyote Ugly?
I actually went. Did you? I actually went home with one. No, I'm kidding. I actually went to the movies to see that with my buddy and his wife. But Cocktails, the movie, I bet you I've seen that thing like 20 times. I've probably seen every Tom Cruise movie, especially Top Gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen that.
I'm gonna have to watch that one again. Christian Bale is my guy. That's probably my top actor.
Oh, that's your favorite actor?
Yeah, Christian Bale, man.
So you like American Psycho? Did you ever watch that one?
Dude, absolutely.
Dude, absolutely. that was like,
come on.
That was hardcore.
Hardcore.
Like, he played like the delusional.
Dude, he did it. He did such a great job. Man.
My oldest daughter's 20, and she just watched it, and she was like, "I don't get the ending." I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty certain he's not Patrick Bateman either."
Yeah. Speaking of Christian Bale, that guy. The way he transforms his body for different movie roles.
It's just, man,
wow.
It's wild.
Gaining weight or losing weight.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Julian.
That's amazing.
I'm going to be real honest. I probably haven't had bourbon or whiskey since I was 20.
Wow.
Since I was 20. I know I was underage, but
that's all right.
But see, I never sipped it like this, man. I've never sipped and been like, but I'm seriously digging the syrup. It might get me in trouble.
That's all right. You know, and that's the thing, man. Like that is, you know, what I love about.
See, I'm not
whiskey
making a face anymore.
And bourbon.
Yeah.
It just we can sit down and have a great conversation over a phenomenal glass of whiskey. You know, and over time it gets better and better and better with each and every sip. You know, usually I might have a couple glasses, but for tonight we may keep it to one. But who knows? We might get into another. But,
I'm going to say, I'm not driving, so could I go for number 2?
Absolutely. 100%. But yeah, it's just, whiskey's awesome.
That is really good. That's
Here comes Trivia Teddy. He's going on glass number 2.
But that's like, because you work up at the cigar company.
Yeah.
You know, every other Sunday?
Every other Sunday, absolutely.
You guys have got quite a wide variety of bourbons up there, don't you?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna be.
Oh no, I'm still working on mine.
Too. I'm just gonna be honest. There's not a lot of places, even in Indianapolis. This is, and I'm not just tooting, Miss Sinawah Cigar Company's horn or anything like that. This is just me being brutally honest. There's not a lot of places that have the collection that we have, even in the Indianapolis area.
I've heard that.
There may be 4 or 5, that, and there are some amazing, elegant, beautiful bars, right? That are in the Indy area. But as far as having the quantity and the quality of whiskeys, and not just bourbon, when we have Scotch, Irish, Japanese, I mean, you can come into Miss Sinawah Cigar Company and see bottles that I don't even have at home. I can't even find on the secondary market, and that is just the honest truth. I don't buy off the secondary market, but we have bottles that are extremely difficult to find and get your hands on.
How far do you think you got to go to get the same kind of quality and quantity and selection?
Yeah, sure.
That we have here.
I mean, Kentucky.
Oh man.
And then there are some really, like the Wise Guy. I'll shout them out. Ben. I mean, he's an amazing bartender there. He manages that spot. The Wise Guy is amazing. I mean,
really?
we're talking a lot of really good bourbon that is in the Wise Guy, and and some people don't even know about it. It's connected with Goodfellas right down on Maz Ave.
Really?
And they have an amazing assortment of bourbon. But I'll tell you what, and a lot of it's so I don't even want to say that. A lot of times it's like for our location, but for Indiana, Miss Sinawah Cigar Company, I mean, top 5.
Really?
Just in selection.
Wow.
You go in there, and if you're a bourbon aficionado, as they would call it, or a connoisseur, it doesn't matter, or wherever your level is, or you're gonna find something that you're gonna really enjoy in Miss Sinawah Cigar Company for sure.
And that's what I noticed, because every time I go up there, I'm like kind of I like beer, but I like beer from the brewery.
Yeah. Yep.
He's not as big as a fan as I am, but
you're like your craft beers.
I really do. And but usually when I go up to the cigar company, I would say 95% of the people, that's what they're doing. They're sipping on a bourbon, smoking a stick. So chill up there.
Dude, it's awesome. It's an awesome space. It's an awesome space. Yep.
Pacers 420 just hit us up. Hey fellas, from a fellow Hoosier, wish you all the best.
Awesome.
Thank you, Pacers 420.
Yes, thank you.
Love it.
But yeah, man, I really dig, and I'm proud to say that Mrs. Sinawah Cigar Company is one of our main sponsors, and I really think that is one of the coolest places.
Man,
like, as far as atmosphere and the aesthetics of the place, the layout, the people, because I feel like you could walk in there and sit down, and nobody's gonna say, "Hey, man, this is a private conversation."
Right.
They'll include you.
Yeah, exactly. The inclusivity. I mean, anyone's welcome.
Yep.
No matter whether you're, it just doesn't matter. We are so inclusive, and whether you like cigars or not, whether you like whiskey or not, everyone's included, everyone's involved, and even if you don't want to be, I'll tell you what, like when I first started going to Miss Sinawah Cigar Company, like as a guest, 80% of the time I sat by myself. I would go out on the lounge and just get a stick, have a whiskey, and just have my time, right? Have my quiet time, and that's another beautiful piece, because a lot of places don't offer that, right? They don't offer that space where you can get off of work and just go in somewhere and just say, you know what, this is my me time. This is my quiet time where I can have a little zen and just relax for a second. And Miss Cinewall offers that too. And just, you know, I'm so blessed, honestly, to be a part of the lounge, and really, you know, so much of where I'm at right now is because of them. Is because of, you know, them believing in me, my abilities. Jenny pushing me, Dennis, Tony, Josh, Todd. I could go on, right? And so it's been a blessing just to be a part of that. And really, I mean, to answer even that question that we started off, I mean, that's been a big part of my journey too. You know, just people saying, hey, you have it. You have a wonderful palate. You can do this. And from there, when people believe in you, and it's not, and even when it's not just the staff, it's the customers. It's Grant County kind of backing you a little bit. When people believe in you, it's a big deal. Yeah,
that is. And that's awesome.
Yep,
that's a great statement.
Man, I just want to say, Julian, I think I speak for Ted as well. We appreciate you taking the time
absolutely
out of your day.
Yeah,
I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, thank you.
We look forward to Friday night. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm telling you right now, man, it's going to be fun.
Let's do it.
We're going to have a good time.
Awesome, man. All right.
Teddy, you got
Anybody
anything?
you want to shout out before we get off?
Yeah, again, just want to shout out West Fork Distillery just for the gifts and just for the time. Just awesome for them to do that. I want to shout out Stave and Thief as well. Stave and Thief Society. Good. It's the Bourbon Society. I'm an executive bourbon steward through that, and so just want to shout them out as well, just for allowing me to grow. Shout out Miss Cinewall. Yeah. And just, you know, there's so many people that I could name, and so just so very blessed to be here, and thank you all. Thank you both for allowing me to be here and giving me a space to speak. So
we appreciate you. And your knowledge is invaluable.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we hope you've enjoyed this episode with Julian Miller from the Mrs. Cinewall Cigar Company.
Like and subscribe.
Hit that, smash that subscribe button. It helps us out.
Smash
it. Smash it.
And they need to check out our videos with Donald Trump and Joe Rogan as well.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, he's out there pressing the flesh for us. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll catch you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Julian.
Absolutely.
We'll catch you all again.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, man. That was great.
That was fun.
That's